What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Perth Pro Players team member Alex here on the left playing set 1 Golden Frieza, and we have Rory here on the right playing Jiren. So just before we get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Team Card Titan. If you guys want any DBS sealed products or DBS singles, make sure you check out that link in the description below. And for all the people who are in Australia and New Zealand, check out their auction page on Facebook as well. Now, set 1 Frieza, I really love this deck. Like, I've played it many times before in many different sets. It has seen a little bit of a resurgence lately. Obviously, how many good yellow cards there are available really makes it quite viable, and it draws so many cards. It's almost like a yellow Soul Striker, which I really like about this deck as well, is that you get your untap, you get your draws. A lot of cards just filter as well, which is really nice. So just being able to filter all the time means you're going to see the pieces that you need when you need, right? Which I really like. So it looks like we're going to hit a Frieza's Call just here, hitting a Sorbet. Other good thing about this deck is cards like Riposte and the 1-cost Goku that's like a blocker counterplay. Live turn 1 potentially, right? If you charge an extra card, you hit a Frieza's Call, boom, it's live straight away, which is really nice as well. So having access to something like that is great. Sorbet hitting the board, unfortunately whiffing here, not getting anything we need off the top, which really sucks, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, sometimes you do whiff in this deck because you don't run a hell of a lot of freezers, but it gets you an extra body, allows you to draw when the pop untap and then drawing another card from playing another card, which is great. Now, passing over to Jiren, very different, right? Very different style of deck. This is a combo deck. We need to find our pieces at certain times, so we need to be able to filter through our deck enough to find our pieces, and we want pieces that find other pieces, which a lot of the deck kind of does do that by drawing cards and filtering through every time you play. Now, we're going to take a live check, top 5. Found ourselves a Jiren, which is great here, so we're going to be able to check top 5 again, try to find another piece if possible, right? Which is exactly what he wants to do, is find another piece, so then he can get his evolve if he wishes. Now, this is, I think, the first time Rory's actually played this deck, so bear with him if he is slower on some of the plays and things like that, or he makes some mistakes. It is the first time, and we always excuse the first time, but he jumped on screen like a champ, so I really appreciate it. So it looks like we are going to hit, it looks like 2 Corn Dogs and 1 Hipster Jiren, if we wish. So I'm pretty sure he would be able to grab either one of those, because he can just add a Jiren to hand. It doesn't have an energy restriction, I believe. So more than likely what I would say here is you grab the Hipster Jiren just because it can keep going through. But it looks like he's going to drag Corn Dog. And shout out to the boys at FOE and PPG for making up the whole Hipster Jiren, Corn Dog Jiren. I can't remember the person's name and I do apologize. But shout out to you, my man. I feel like that is probably one of the greatest things, and it's so much easier than their actual names, but that's how I remember them now. So thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you for watching the video as well. I saw a comment pop up, which was awesome, saying that you heard me saying it, so that's awesome. So we're going to hit the draw, hitting a 4-cost, drawing a card. We get to minus this card off the board, so hopefully Alex has a way to put another one on the board, which we can see a Frieza's Call there in hand, which is great. So the fact that he does have that in hand means that he can, I guess, play something else out, because that's one thing with this deck, right, is you need to have the untap and draw every turn. You want that to keep happening consistently, right, because if it doesn't happen consistently, it feels really bad. So you want to keep it happening as consistent as possible. So hitting the Sorbet, maybe not, maybe hitting the Frieza's Call, hitting a Frieza's Call, which is probably the better choice because you've set up your Riposte. Guaranteeing a draw as well. Guaranteeing 2 draws, sorry. Because you guarantee a draw off the play and you guarantee a draw off the pop as well, which is quite nice, right? So that's the good thing. And I guess, look, this is different than when I ever ran it back in the day, right? There was more searching and things like that you did have to do. That was more the regular thing, is that, well, the 1-drops just kind of search, they didn't draw. You've got so many cards now that draw cards, which is great. So another whiff on the Sorbet, unfortunately. Now, Alex only runs 2 of the Sorbet. He was just testing it out to see if he liked it better. I think, look, at the end of the day, it's still a target for Frieza's Call. It's still a target to pop as well, which isn't too bad. Now, it looks like we're just going to swing in to one of the 1-drops. Now, I'm not too sure if the Unison is being run in this build. It may not be. I don't think it is. I have a feeling it's probably not. So he's not going to get the evolve from the Spirit Boost or anything like that just then and there. So just clearing it off the board is always valuable to stop another evolve chain going. We do have the one in hand. We're going to hit our life check in the top again for 5. I don't think we found one yet. 7. So does not look like we found one at all, which is rather sad. And that does happen sometimes. Unfortunately, sometimes you do whiff. It's impossible to guarantee that you get it every single turn. And we have filtered at least 2 out as well. And you've got a Kunchi there. So there's at least 3. Plus, I think I can see some other Kunchis in hand as well. Now, be interesting to see if we have the 5 cost in hand, if we're going to go into that at all. Otherwise, the play maybe is to just go for the Kunchi. So then we can just draw another card. Looks like we are going to hit the 5 cost though. So we've got dual attack 19k plus the leader. And then we kill one of the boys as well, which is great. So we get a plus our leader. My apologies, no minus on this one. No, this one just has the plus. So no minus on this one, just the plus. So he's going to plus the leader. I think it's by 1k as well. And then when it's a 19k dual attacker. Now, if I was Rory, I wouldn't put Alex in Awaken range, because if he gets to Awaken and on his own terms, it's very strong. Now, this is one thing. So if you're playing against Golden Frieza, granted, it can be very hard to control their Awaken, but where possible, what you want to do is you want to be able to control their Awaken so that they awaken during your turn, like force them to awaken during your turn, so they're not getting full value. And the full value I mean is that they get to potentially play a card, draw a card, pop it, draw another card, untap the energy they use, awaken, draw 2, play something else, right, for two energy or something along those lines, pop another Frieza's army, draw another card, and untap another 2 cards, right? Which is really, really powerful. So the fact that he can do that is really strong. So what I would say Rory here doing is probably not swinging. I don't think he really needs to at this point. Alex is just going to take a damage. You're either losing an energy if he needs to defend, or you're losing that battler. So that would have to be tapped down, right? So I think, yeah, just passing here is fine. We're not really applying too much pressure. It's only worth pushing through a riposte when we're really able to apply a lot of pressure. Now, Alex not seeing any unisons yet, but we do see a Roshi. And the fact that we see a Roshi means that we can awaken on our own terms. And I think at this point, I would say that it's probably a good choice to awaken on your own terms, right? Because we have the energy available to do so. I think it's worth it. I would say he goes for that, but he's probably just going to swing out at the moment. So we're going to swing a 15. Just leaving it at 15. I'm assuming Rory takes this. There's no need to combo out and defend this right now. I'd assume we can now play the Roshi out. Looks like we're going to play a 1-cost drawing a card instead. So maybe not going for the Awaken this turn. Maybe he wants to slow it down a little bit. I don't know if Alex has played against Jiren very many times, right? So potentially he's not too sure how much the deck can pop off. Wants to just be safe, which is fair enough. I don't think he's got another riposte in hand either. So he probably just wants to be able to, I guess, play cards out and protect himself. But maybe he's going for it now, thinking about it. That could be his best play, right? He may go for the Awaken still, because what he can do is he can still untap that 2 energy on that side. But it looks like what we're going to do is we're just going to leave it on the front side of the leader, because if he was going to Awaken, he would have done it by now. So we've got the riposte in hand, which is great. We've got a Trunks in hand as well, so the 20k, which is quite nice. Rory going to take the damage and put a blocker on the board here. I don't know if Alex would tap out. I don't think it's worth it. I think you probably just pass, leave the energy up, make it a bit threatening. Sometimes you do have to, I guess, psych him out. But the fact that he's got Final Flash, Cold Bloodlust, and also the riposte there in hand, I feel like he's in a very good situation. Now, going to charge another Kunchi. Alex does have quite a bit of energy up. So this is where if you have like a crown or something like that, there's the potential that you go for the crown. So you can take the riposte out of hand and have quite a big turn if you really wanted to, because you are going to Awaken here with the Jiren. So let's see what he decides to go for. So We're going to check the top. We got a hipster Jiren, which is awesome. We got a corn dog Jiren as well, which is awesome. I'm assuming you hit straight away hipster Jiren, I think is usually the better choice, but we've gone for the corn dog guy. I would say, look, in my personal opinion, it's always better to be able to filter the 5, just in case if you're trying to look for pieces. Now, I'm not too sure how many pieces Rory has in his hand. I didn't look at it before when he fanned it out. There could be a reason why he went for that one over, because he's got maybe enough of the pieces in hand that he feels pretty comfortable. This card also has great effect in your drop area, right? So the fact that you can, I guess, do the bottom deck and be able to search out some of your pieces as well is really, really strong. So he could do that if he wants. So if that hits the drop area, what he can do is he can put it to the bottom of his deck, discard a card, look for one of the pieces, which I think is the 4 and 5 you can find, which is great. So we are going to hit the dual attack here, throw a double strike behind. I would feel like at this point, probably not great. I would say you get the 1 damage through, and then you double strike from 5 to 3 instead. You try to force that to happen instead. I think that's always preferred. And then if they waste a final flash on it, it's definitely valuable for you, right? Now, Awakening, so drawing a card, untapping. Now, when he gets his evolves, he's in a bit of a better position because his leader's going to start getting buffed as well. And he may go for the big Jiren here. So the big boy Jiren, 2 energy, right? 2 energy, get the evolve. I'm pretty sure, is it 2 or 3? Maybe it's 3. Maybe I'm wrong. But getting that effect really, really strong. So this is pretty much a dual attacker because of the effect on it as well. We also plus on the leader, which is great too. So we plus on the leader twice because we get a plus for the evolve, and then we plus for the effect as well. So it is really, really strong. So rather scary facing down that, but we do have final flash, of course. And we are going to hit it with the counterplay Goku, which again, really, really sad. So that coming in rest mode, because I don't think he has deflect, unfortunately. But we still get the plus, of course. We still get the plus on the leader, and we can still use the effect to put it face up and do that too, right? So you can still get the effect to place it face up. So now he gets the minus. He's going to kill the blocker, which I think is definitely the right choice. We're still drawing a card, right? And then we're going to use the effect. So we take 1 card from underneath, restand it, plus 5k to our leader, right? And now the corn dog Jiren is in our drop area. The other great thing, as I said, we can do is now bottom deck it, discard a card, and go find another piece if we need to, because he can, as I said, grab a 4-drop, evolve on top, right? And then he can get rid of that sorbet off the board. So then Alex, if he wants to pop 2 cards, he has to establish another card on the board to be able to get the full profit out of it, right? What I would say here is probably going to happen, though, is he'll probably swing in with the big boy, right? Maybe throw some combo behind it, because it looks like we may go for the Jiren, but it looks like he's just going to go for the swing. Alex is going to riposte this one, unfortunately. So we've got the riposte out on the board. Rory has a chance, if he wishes, he can go for the discard for the 2 Jirens if he wants. Probably won't, but I think the good thing here is probably just going for the evolve on the 15k Jiren to be able to minus, and then what we do is probably just swing with leader. So just clear board. I think we just maintain the board at this point, right? Rather than going for life, we know we're not going to get too much damage through, but what we can do is we can minus the Frieza that's in rest mode and then swing into that, right? To get it off the board if we wish. Unfortunately, obviously, comes in with no effects, so no draws or any top searches or anything like that. It is just pretty much a 10k combo on the board, which is great. But we can get our evolve, which is great on it as well. So we're going to go for the minus, hitting the sorbet. I would assume we probably just swing into the other Frieza to clear that off the board, right? I don't think we want that hanging around, really. I think if we just clear that off the board as soon as possible, that way he has to establish something else to get the full profit on the leader, right? Which I kind of like that. I kind of like forcing him to have the answer cards here rather than just allowing him to get the full profit out of it, because he will just clear his cards. He doesn't care about them at this point. So I think we're going to swing probably 15 to maybe 15 to 15, resting our, looks like resting one of the one-drop Jirens. So this is where I probably would swing with leader instead. Go for the 25k into the 15, right? So let's see what happens here. If we're going to go 15 to 15. I don't think we have a way to establish another one, unfortunately. So we're going to awaken draw 2. So he's not going to get full value, which is okay for us as well, right? But then we just combo out one. Just protect it. Why not? Yep, just protect it. Just a 5k is fine, right? And that's okay. So this one's not the one with dual attack, right? So this one doesn't restand. It is just a single 15k swing on that one, right? Just a single 15k swing. So that one would be in rest mode still. I think Rory was confusing it with the 5 cost potentially. Maybe he meant to go for the 5 cost, but I'm pretty sure he meant to go for the 4 cost because he wanted to minus that sorbet there off the board. So that should still be in rest mode, all right? It isn't a dual attacker. So as I said, is Rory's first time, I think, playing the deck. So he's still learning effects and learning what everything does as well. And then when you're on stream, sometimes it can be hard to remember and sit down and read everything because you're trying to obviously play the best you can and rushing through. You don't want to hold up the game too much. So not too bad, right? It does happen, unfortunately. But we're going to swing in with our Jiren leader. Again, with this swing, because we wouldn't have a battle card, we would have to tap the energy down, unfortunately. Would have to tap the energy down, and it is going to get negated just there, right? So I think, as I said, the board clear was probably the best thing to do. Try to clear the board as much as possible, just to make sure he doesn't get full value. But we did get Alex to awaken, I guess, during our turn, which is good. Now, I think Alex is going to have a decent amount of protection still. Doesn't want to tap out for Makika Bora just yet. Good thing is here, though, Makika Bora, you pay 4, right? You get it up to 5. You sack one of these guys. You get 2 energy back. You've got 2 energy to defend yourself for the next turn, which is great. So I think probably Alex plays control here. He probably goes for more the board, I would say. So start swinging into maybe some of the 1-drops. But he may be going for the aggressive route, drawing a card, resting down. Again, as I said, this card would be rested anyway. So he wouldn't be able to rest it, but it doesn't matter. He still gets his draw regardless. He may have changed his plays. May not have gone for that just then and there, but that's okay. Still going to go 15 to 15, it looks like here. I'm assuming this is going into leader and probably not the 1 cost, but I think it'd be good to just play some board clear here. Just clear as much as you can off the board. Looks like he's going to defend it with the Vegeta. Great card in this deck as well, being able to use that effect, especially when you've buffed your leader enough. It's really, really strong. You can get to up to, what, like a 40k, I believe, if I remember right, which is quite nice. So taking up to 25k. We've got super combos in hand here. So quite easily just going to super combo out of this one. Hopefully keeping the yellow Jiren in hand because that card is great. Once again, having those cards in drop area is so easy. And then we can just combo off. At this point, I would combo off the Corn Dog Jiren. But we're going to go Vegeta. Interesting. Going to go the Vegeta. I probably would have gone the Corn Dog Jiren. Definitely want to keep Broly Crown in hand as well. So that way what we can do is we hit Broly Crown. And then we can, I guess, look at the opponent's hand. And then take out the Riposte if they have one. Great thing here, though, for Alex. Really, really nice. He's just gone into the Trunks units. And I'm assuming what he's going to do is dual attack here. So 2 20Ks and then just clear the entire board. I forgot that he had this in hand. And this is a great card. You know, it does so much. I feel like it was a really underrated unison at first, but it is such a strong unison. Being able to swing dual attack 20k, swings underneath Riposte, so in a format where yellow is really strong, swings twice under Riposte is really great as well. And then the fact that it also can clear an entire board for the -3 is great too. So forcing Rory to use some more super combos here. Bottom decking, drawing 2, taking it to 25. I'm assuming on this second swing of Alex's, he'll probably just go he may just go for the after image. Potentially not, because he's going to lose exactly the same thing. There's probably no need to. But what we can do is, as I said, we can just clear this board right now, which is great, right? He's got no 5 costs on board, so there's no 5 costs being able to be protected. We're just going to be able to clear this entire board. So it looks like we're leaving 20 to 15 here. Forcing 2 cards from hand once again. Taking him down to, I think, only 5 cards left in hand. Swinging a 15. Drawing a card once again. Now we are able to clear the board. So as I said, Alex didn't need to play control this turn, but he did it in a better way. Obviously, having that unison was the correct way to do it, right? I forgot we even saw that at the start earlier in the hand, and he's definitely gone for the right thing. Being able to just -3 on this and just clear the board is excellent. So he's going to go for the -3 and then just clear board, which is great for him too, because it stops so much pressure coming in to his leader. So unfortunately, this does not have any tag that protects it. It's only the 5 cost that has the tag that protects it, which kind of sucks. So he loses everything here, has to start again, which in a combo deck is not the ideal thing, right? You never want to lose everything and start again because it makes it really hard. You've lost quite a lot of your pieces, unfortunately. But it looks like we do have a little bit of a chain that we can go up into again. We've got a 1 cost, we've got a 5 cost, we've got the big Jiren, right? Unfortunately, don't have enough energy for it though, sadly. We've only got the 4. But we can stay in the 5 cost, right? Because the 5 cost is quite strong as well, being able to dual attack 19k. Plus on leader, technically he gets 6k plus, right? Which is great. Maybe even find a 4 cost here, potentially, right? So let's see. And other thing, as I said, we've got Corn Dog in the drop area, so we can go for Corn Dog, discarding a card and grabbing our 4 cost if he wishes, right? If he wants to do that, he definitely can. And the fact that he can minus 10k on the Frieza and then swing into it means that Alex, once again, has to establish something else to be able to get an untap. So if he plays anything that's too beefy, it makes it a little bit hard, but I'm pretty sure I can see a riposte, unfortunately, in hand. And the big thing here for Rory, I would say, is he needs to swing at the leader first to make sure he gets his draws, right? Because you don't want to lose that with a riposte. So the 5 cost is in hand. I think he just hasn't picked it up yet. Maybe forgetting that he added it to hand. Yeah, Alex just let him know. Add that to hand. He'll probably go for the bottom deck on the Corn Dog Jiren, I would say, and the discard. But it looks like we're going to go for the evolve straight away instead. So I would say usually go get the 4, go for the 5, right? We're not going to use that energy for too much else. Drawing an extra card, plussing 6k on the leader as well. Unfortunately being played in rest mode once again, which kind of sucks. But anyway, we're going to swing with our leader first, right? So we always swing with our leader first. Make sure we get our profit here. Now, probably what I would say is just swing into... It's tough. I would probably swing into the riposte, as I said, make him establish another one so he can get the pop. So he does have to play it out, right? Which he probably will just riposte anyway here because he can quite easily, and it kind of stops the entire turn. Unfortunately, Jiren not going to be able to do too much. But I think Rory just realizing he gets the plus 1k as well as the plus 5k on the leader. So he gets both, right? Which is nice. So he gets the 2 pluses just there. So he gets the evolve and the 1k. But yes, I would say at least swing into the Frieza. If it eats another negate, that's okay for you as well, I reckon. I don't think it's the end of the world forcing him to use another negate from hand. And then I think what we try to do is we have to just protect our board the next turn and try to establish and kill him going into our next turn, right? That's what we have to try to do, is protect this 5 cost now. So swing this into the Frieza. It's going to eat another riposte, unfortunately. Still drawing another card, but just getting our full value, right? We don't want to tap any energy down now. We want to keep the energy up so we can protect. As I said, I think Crown probably would be in the right play before, as we were talking. When I saw the Crown pop up, I said you should do that because then you take the riposte from hand. I think that was probably the best play, right? So unfortunately, he's getting a little bit late now. Don't really think there's anything good to steal, unfortunately. I think there may be Bergamo in hand, but I don't know if he's got any tap down, right? So he can technically bloodless it if he really wants to. The only card that's going to get stolen is, Roshi or a Bergamo, it looks like, which I think at the end of the day doesn't really matter very much at all. He's not going to hit the big fist. So I think you just let the Bergamo go. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not very strong when you've got nothing to tap down with. So that's okay. Scoop that back up. We're probably going to go for Makikabura next turn anyway, right? So Makikabura. Right, we can see it out on the board just here. Alex giving us a nice show, which is good, so we can actually see what he had in hand here. I'm assuming this is probably going to pass Rory's turn, unfortunately. So he should have hit Crown first, guys. So anytime you have Crown, I think Crown is a great card, but it has to be played at the correct time. So Crown, when you can have an aggressive turn, right, is really, really strong. So what you want to do is you want to be able to look at the hand and you want to be able to take away their floodgate. So you want to take away their riposte. And then what you want to do is be able to just start swinging through that, right? So try to put that damage through. Because what they're probably doing is relying on that riposte as much as possible, right? So the fact was, if they're relying on that riposte to defend, they're now using all the cards they have left in their hand, which is plus for you. Or they're taking a life to use negates, right? Or they're wasting final flashes on attacks that don't really matter too much. So that's what you need to do, is you need to Crown at the correct time, take the floodgate away, right? Especially if it's their only one left, that's perfect. And then be very, very aggressive on the backup. So I assume what we're going to do here, pay 4 for Makikabura, because that card is definitely going to save us a hell of a lot. And the fact is, he can Makikabura if he really wants to, and he feels rather aggressive right now. So I'm assuming we're going to pop the Frieza, untap our 2, draw a card. We can then go into the Dragon Fist if we wish, right? Which Dragon Fist is very, very strong. So we stop that from untapping, right? Which is great for us. Draw a card, and then we're going to pop untap 2, draw a card, which is another great thing to happen right now. We do also have access to Trunks, which I don't think we need Trunks, but I think we just go straight for Dragon Fist, and we try to close out the game with Dragon Fist, because that card is absolutely ridiculous. It's so strong. The fact that Rory now doesn't have access to his super combos, he needs hard negates. But the scary thing here is I don't think Rory has a hard negate in hand. I think he's only got an after image technique, and I believe he's at 2 life if we can see correctly. I think he's only at 2 life, so this is going to be rather scary. Now, we can use after image technique, which I think is a good choice here, right? Plussing 40, minusing 10, right? So it brings it down a little bit. It's not as strong, but Alex has the hand advantage, I think, right now, which is the scary part, right? So Alex has a hand advantage. Be plussing, I'm assuming we're not going to combo up into that. And it looks like we're going to go for the hard negate once again, which is great for us. A little bit of extra protection as well. So now Alex is tapped out technically, right? So this can be rather scary for him here, right? So what he could do is potentially lose the game because he has tapped out, but I think what he's going to try to do is try to close it out with the leader swing or with this riposte. So I think with the riposte, he's probably just going to leave it at 15, and then what he'll do is attack with the Frieza and combo up to 25, right? Or potentially 30k. Potentially 30k here, which I think that's exactly what we've got in hand. It's 30k and then everything else costs. Nice thing is we do have a negate that can take a life and gain a blocker. So let's see what he chooses to do. I would say you keep the blocker maybe on board just to be safe. I think Rory wins, unfortunately, in the hand right now for combo. So we're taking it 35k, right? Oh, maybe not. So maybe that is exactly the right number that Rory needs, because I think he has 2 10ks in hand, unfortunately. So we got 20. Yeah, so we're at 35, and I think that's possibly the correct number. Yeah, that is the correct number. So there we go, guys. I was miscalculating. I thought Rory had a little bit more 5Ks in hand. Usually the deck does run a lot of 5Ks, but unfortunately clogged up with 10Ks there at the end, which kind of sucks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.